Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Xanthus Gaming. We're here today in Soulstone Survivors, and we have an assassin build for you that's actually pretty flexible. There's a lot of variance and choice that you can make in this build, and we'll kind of go over what those options are for you. Here is a sample of the gameplay and how it ends up later, so you can just kind of see what it looks like. I mean, you can see lots of stuff flying everywhere. It's very fun. You're making things bleed, you're bombing things, you're just decimating the screen. It's good times. This is max difficulty, of course, and I was struggling for a while to find a build that works with him, but I think I finally found a build that works with him pretty well. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this build. If you do, make sure you like, favorite, share, subscribe, comment down below, all that good stuff. We could really use the support on the channel. I appreciate all the support we've gotten so far from the Soulstone Survivors community. I could definitely use more people tuning in and checking things out, so you know, share this with your friends, all that good stuff. All right, I'm done plugging. Let's get into the build. All right, so one thing that you're going to want to look at is the runes. Now, rune-wise, you have a number of choices. First, this one's mandatory recklessness. That's going to increase your damage by a huge amount. Whenever you get a chance, if there's no other good option, just grab health, and that's going to help scale up your damage as well as your survivability. An amazing rune at the moment. I expect they might nerf this in the future, but I mean, it is a 4-cost rune, so it does make sense that it's really good, but honestly, it is really, really good. Dash Mastery is kind of an optional one. You can also go with Secret Weapon if you want in order to get a slightly easier start. Downside to that is you're going to be replacing both of your starting weapons, so don't know if that's really worth investing in, but it does give you a little bit easier of a start. I prefer Dash Mastery because it lets you survive throughout the entire run quite a lot better. Multicast Mastery is going to give you lots of extra damage. We want to get to a point where we're casting 3 or 4 of every ability, and grabbing Multicast Mastery just ensures that if we get Multicast Chain, it's going to be a better version of it. So Generalist is going to give us a huge damage multiplier with the Chromatic Bolt that we're going to be taking. I believe it's something crazy like 80% damage multiplier. It's 5% per damage type, and the Chromatic Bolt literally has every single damage type, so, you know, kind of a no-brainer. And then the last one is completely up to you how you want to do this. I personally am a big fan of the Crit Mastery or the Executioner, but I have done it with Purity as well. Purity gives you a easier start. You're a lot stronger at the beginning. You can scale up a lot quicker. The downside to Purity is once you get fully rolling, you're only going to be doing 20 to 30% additional damage with Purity because you're going to take Fragility, you're going to take Weakness, you're going to take Exposed, and then your Chromatic Bolt is going to randomly apply things as well. So, you know, there's a downside, but there's definitely an upside too. If you do decide to go the Purity route, just make sure you're not taking any other debuffs other than Fragility for your skill choices, and you should be good. But like I said, I prefer Crit Mastery or Executioner. If you're going Executioner, you're obviously going to prioritize getting one of each type of debuff. You don't need to stack them, so don't take multiple stacks of Burning or anything like that. The only thing you need to take multiple stacks of is Frailty. Just get one of each and it should be good. The biggest thing we're looking for there is the synergies. So like, you know, Fragility has a chance to bleed, bleed has a chance to poison, that kind of thing. Those are very important if you're going Executioner. But yeah, Crit Mastery, obviously you're going to prioritize crit just a little bit more, up to 100%. But you got some flexibility in that last rune choice. You might even be able to take some other options too, but those are the 3 that I would recommend. Alright, now that we've looked at the runes, let's look at what abilities we're going to use, and then we will look at the stat priorities. Again, within the abilities, there's a little bit of flexibility as well on that last slot. But let's just go through each of these other ones and kind of emphasize why they're important. Flurry is super important because it's your primary method of applying lots of stacks of bleed. Flurry applies bleed just crazy fast, and that's going to be our main damage dealer is the bleed and the detonation of said bleed using Subdue. Subdue does more damage per stack of bleed on the target, so, you know, obviously just stacking up more bleed makes the most sense. Chromatic Bolt gives us our damage multiplier with Generalist. That's 80% more damage for taking Chromatic Bolt. Definitely worth doing. Bomb Barrage basically increases the amount of damage that enemies take from bleed. This will not increase the damage of your Subdue, but this will increase the damage of all the bleeds you're applying everywhere else, And if you go the Executioner route, or if you go the Crit Mastery route and you're applying all the other debuffs as well, it's going to increase the damage that they take from all the other debuffs like Poison and Doom and Burn and all of that good stuff. Bloodlust is there so that we can have very fast cooldowns and be able to keep our flurry up all the time, as well as be able to cast Subdue quite often and be able to cast Rupture quite often. The last skill choice is Rupture. This one is the optional one. I personally really like Rupture. It gives you a lot of crowd control, which is super handy for dealing with the Void Hunters. The Void Hunters, if you don't know at max difficulty, are the main challenge, the main difficulty, the main threat to your life. The bosses are strong and they do hurt, certainly, but it's usually getting clipped by a Holy Fire from a Void Hunter or Chaotic Missile from a Void Hunter. Those are things that kill me most of the time. It's not usually the boss abilities. The main reason for that is, in particular, the Holy Paladin Void Hunter. He doesn't have a very good visual indicator when he casts his abilities. It's there if you're close, but if you're far away and he's off screen, you can't see it at all. And the problem with that is that the ability casts very quickly, and then the missiles that he does cast out travel very quickly as well. So you can find yourself getting procced or one-shotted before you even knew he was on the screen, which is super annoying. So having the ability to knock him down easily is really important, because it just allows you, as soon as you know he's there, you can dash towards him, hit him with Rupture, stun him, knock him down, and then just kill him. So that way he's no longer a threat. Alternatively, if you don't want to take Rupture, if that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, you could also consider doing Thrust. That's going to give you more damage just in a raw fashion. You could consider doing Blade Storm. That's going to give you more applications of all your debuffs for the entire screen. Also a very strong option. Shrapnel Bomb is very good as well, because it's going to apply even more bleeds. You could go with some of the other bomb options too. Really, that last choice is completely up to you. I prefer to use it for the utility, for survivability, because, you know, consistency is more important to me. And, you know, you do plenty of damage with the other stuff. So that's the way I go. But if you want to change it up, feel free. Give it a shot, play around with it, see what works best for you. All right. Looking at stat priorities, this does shift and change around a little bit depending on which variation of the build you're going with. But you want to, no matter what, get your area up through the moon. The reason for this is you want your Rupture to be able to reach the entire screen or most of it. You want your Subdue to be able to reach the entire screen or most of it. And you want your Flurry to be able to reach the entire screen or most of it. You kind of get the idea here. The thing is, we're a melee build, right? And there is just crazy death everywhere in melee, as you can see right now on the screen. So the more often that you can do it from like a mid-range or a long range, the better off you're going to be. So getting that area up there is very, very important. After that, multicast is super important because we are a multicast build. Once you get to a point where you're seeing like 3 to 4 subdues being applied at a time, you can probably back off the multicast and prioritize other things at that point, but you do want to get 3 or 4 casts off at a time. So you're looking at about, 250 to 300% multicast, and you should be good. All right, we are also going to be looking at cooldown until we get our Bloodlust permanent. Bloodlust is going to give us cooldown for everything else, but we want to keep Bloodlust permanently up. So just kind of play it by ear. Anytime you have a chance for cast frequency for Bloodlust, you're going to want to take that. Anytime you have a chance to take potency for Bloodlust, you're going to want to take that. Things like that. Basically, duration for Bloodlust, anything that's going to keep it so that your Bloodlust is up more often is important. Then you're going to get your crit up to 100%. If you're running the Crit Mastery variation of this build, that actually moves up a few tiers of importance. If you're doing the Crit Mastery build, I would say this is probably higher priority than multicast or cooldown reduction. Just basically take crit if you see it. You still do want to prioritize area, but if you are running Crit Mastery, you want to get that crit up to 100% as soon as you can. And then, of course, if you are running the debuff variation of the build and not the purity variation of the build, then you are going to want to take one of each type of debuff. And again, you only need one of each type of debuff. You do not need to stack multiple burns. You do not need to stack multiple dooms. Just one of each. Anytime you can get bleed is great, and synergies are probably the most important part. So, you know, if you have a chance to apply frailty, apply bleed. If you have a chance, if you apply bleed, chance to apply poison, you know, things like that. But yeah, so that's generally the build. Hopefully you guys did like it and enjoy it. I'm gonna let it play out for you a little bit for the rest of this run so you can kind of see how it ended. And like, favorite, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.